I've never been too keen on mobile gaming. In my experience, I tend to avoid downloading them due to the fact that they drain quite a lot of battery that I'd rather conserve for making calls or looking at people Instagramming their food. But the main reason I was against them was that I'd never really played one that didn't feel lazily designed. They were all games that focused on getting the highest score, and linking this with social networking only made it more of a mindless competition that would slowly push microtransactions into your face. Another reason why I'm not fond of playing on my phone is because I already own a 3DS and Vita, so poorly constructed mobile games never seem to appeal to me. Of course, with a market like this, there is always a product that stands out, a black sheep that forces you to reconsider the medium in which you are condemning. This happened to me when I stumbled across Monument Valley. Straight away from the store page, the image supplied displayed a unique art style that reminded me of one of my favorite games, Journey. Intrigued by this, I decided to purchase the game and see whether or not it was good. So what is the game about? The silent protagonist is a princess known as Ida, and it is the player's job to guide her through various monuments. In doing so, we'll teach the player more about Ida and the world she lives in. With only an occasional line of dialogue spoken by others and a description of the level, everything else about the plot is told through its gameplay. This, however, does not diminish the experience one bit. In fact, I would say the lack of context better suits the simplicity of the game's world and causes immersion to be much greater. The way that Ida interacts with objects and other characters really makes the player feel connected to her and determined to get her to the end. Monument Valley plays as sort of a three-dimensional puzzle game where Ida will follow the direction of wherever the screen is tapped. The landscape of the monuments can also be changed at times to help find a solution. In order to complete levels, the player will need to consider the perspective of platforms relative to the camera. Now this is where the ingenious game design truly shines. You see, some of the puzzles may seem impossible to get through as Ida will be on one platform and the destination is on a higher platform, and it may seem inaccessible to get to directly. But if the landscape is changed at just the right point to where the perspective looks like the platforms are connected, the player will be able to eliminate the change in axes, allowing Ida to traverse across different planes. This kind of gameplay reminds me of the Penrose Triangle, the conceptual object of a staircase that loops back onto itself. Solving a puzzle that involves this is extremely satisfying as it forces the player to consider ideas that may seem illogical at first. The graphics in Monument Valley look really good. In a title that heavily relies on the visual perception of the game's physical designs, the art style of the different platforms in the monuments blend together seamlessly between levels and create a sense of calmness and tranquility to better suit the nature of this 3D puzzler. The atmosphere of the game is truly a breath of fresh air when compared to the myriad of repetitive mobile games that I, personally, was not fond of its abundance in the market. The music is superbly composed where no track feels too overwhelming and softens its dynamic when it wants the player to focus on what is happening. The tone of each track perfectly represents the nature of the level it is played in and makes the entire experience that much more worthwhile. One gripe I can see a lot of people having with this game is that it may appear to be too short. With the base game only having 10 levels to play through, I would expect people to be skeptical when purchasing the game. If you're looking for something that is completely different from a lot of the games currently out there right now for smartphones, then I would recommend you to experience this beautiful adventure. There is also DLC that allows you to play through 8 extra levels, which I have yet to purchase, but I can say that I am satisfied with what Monument Valley has already provided.